Boo-Too. This is Supergirl Season 2, Episode 7, titled The Darkest Place, and this is the Part 2 video. I really didn't think I'd have a Part 2 video, but I was talking so much about Cyborg Superman, Cyborg Superman, that I completely started babbling again. And plus all my info is all it's all scattered brained and yeah. But anyway, hang on. Why is that even on my TV? But anyway, from where I left off, apparently Lillian wanted Kara for her blood because she forces Kara to deplete her powers to the point where she's practically human, like she has done before with her power. She actually even mentioned when Kara had a battle with Red Tornado in Season 1, that when she overheated her heat ray, she depleted her powers and she was practically human, right? And Lillian wants Kara to recreate that so Kara would practically be human, and I was wondering, why would you want that? And then we find out she wanted that so she actually can take a blood sample, because remember, Kara being Kryptonian, any needle that goes in Kara will just break, right? So they need her to be human in order to get blood from her. And when they were taking blood from her, it made me think, this is Cadmus. They're notorious for cloning. More or less when it comes to comics and other animation, like animated media, they've cloned a lot. Like Young Justice, the TV show Young Justice is a very prime example of that. They cloned the Guardian and the Young Justice animated. And they cloned Roy Harper in the Young Justice animated. And so they are, and plus Superboy in the Young Justice animated, he himself is a clone of half Superman and half Lex Luthor, and all from Cadmus. So when they started getting samples of blood from her, I was thinking maybe they might possibly use her blood to clone her. I don't know what it takes to clone somebody, but I think maybe blood might do it. I don't know. That could be one major ingredient, right? So that is my prediction. I think they might be taking blood from her. One of the reasons was in my opinion, since it's Cadmus, I think they might make a clone of her. And because of that, could that be a possibility? If that is a possibility, could we actually see Power Girl show up in this universe? Because like I said, in a lot of media, especially in the comics and animated media, Cadmus is notorious for cloning. Cadmus just took Kara's blood. Could they use that blood to actually make a clone of her? And could that clone end up being this TV show's version of Power Girl? That would be sick! Power Girl! I love her! So I'm kind of curious. If they are, in fact, going that route, that'd be pretty freaking cool. CW, if you're doing that, kudos, man. Kudos. But anyway, Kara ends up getting shoved back in her cell next to Mon-El, and they have a bonding moment where they're like, if I don't make it and all that stuff, kind of speeches to each other, just as Mon-El was going to tell Kara something, like I think maybe a secret about his life on Daxam, someone manages to show up and break them out, and that someone ends up being Jeremiah Danvers, and I was like, yes! Jeremiah Danvers is alive, and he's still a good guy, because he's breaking Kara and Mon-El out. Anyway, Jeremiah saves Kara and Mon-El and helps them escape, but unfortunately, in order to help Kara and Mon-El escape, he had to stay behind, right? And, speaking of which, I forgot to mention Jean. Like I said, Jean's been having shakes and hallucinations, and before the whole Guardian versus that vigilante thing and Kara and Mon-El in, Cadmus, before the whole Guardian versus that vigilante went down, Jean and Alex, like I said, he asked for a blood sample to see what was wrong with him. And Ja'an sees the blood sample and he recognizes it, and you immediately know, oh my gosh, since Ja'an recognized it, that means he knows that it's white Martian stuff, right? And Ja'an ends up in the club, he sees M'gann leaving, and he's like, he pretty much confronts her. He's like, you're a white Martian this whole time? Show yourself, show your true form to me. And they end up showing their true forms to each other, end up duking it out. And instead of killing M'gann, Ja'an ends up imprisoning her in the DEO. Which I was like, M'gann even said herself that she was the white Martian that defected from all the other white Martians. She didn't want to kill anymore. So I understand Ja'an's mad, because M'gann pretty much lied that she was a green Martian when she was a white Martian this whole time, and that white Martians killed his family. And she ended up giving him her blood. But M'gann even said herself, she didn't want to kill innocent people anymore. She didn't want to kill innocent Martians anymore. She defected. So I know Ja'an's angry, and I'm glad he didn't kill her, but I don't think he should have imprisoned her. She obviously is a good person. She did not want to do what she did on Mars. And I think Ja'an's just getting bat shiitake angry. But anyway, she warns him the reason why M'gann did not want to give Ja'an any of his blood wasn't really because she was a white Martian. It was because that apparently white Martians were testing out this theory about getting rid of green Martians, and the only way to do that was to give them their blood. And M'gann was warning him. That was the main reason why she didn't want to give her blood to him, because the transfusion is literally turning Ja'an into a white Martian. We actually see it happening because his hand starts shaking and it turns into a white Martian hand and then goes back. And I really am scared for Ja'an. I really am. But another thing that I was kind of somewhat happy about was the fact that Alex, she finally accepts the fact that Maggie just wants to be a friend. And she finally accepts that and it's like, you know what, fine. We'll just be friends, Maggie. I get it. Fine. And I thought that was decent of her, but at the same time I was like, that was pretty fast. I'm just saying. But anyway, I thought this was an interesting thing that happened because during that entire imprisonment in Cadmus, in order to make Kara force her to deplete her powers, Lillian threatened Mon-El. Because apparently she found out that Mon-El, being a Daxamite, she found out that his weakness is lead. So she ends up shooting him in the leg with a lead bullet, and he ends up getting like lead poisoning, right? And as Jeremiah is saving Kara and Mon-El, he does manage to take the bullet out. And so I'm glad that they got the bullet out and Mon-El's okay. And I thought it was pretty cute that they end up, after all this ordeal's over, Kara, Alex, Mon-El, Wynn, and James are all in Kara's place. They have food, they're having like a little get-together party, and having a bonding moment, and it was pretty funny. Kara's talking to her sister, and Mon-El has like a little mini chat with Wynn and James about mating customs, or like, I want to say mating, but you know what I mean, like customs of Earth when it comes to, partners, wives, husbands, and all that stuff, right? And I call it the mating process because I don't remember what he called it exactly. But you could tell over these episodes that Mon-El has had deeper feelings for Kara, and it showed even more in this episode, especially when they all had that party at Kara's place. They have ice for him on his leg, he's talking to Kara, they have a moment together, and then she gets up to talk to her sister, and then Mon-El asks Wynn and James about the customs about people in love, basically, on Earth. And Mon-El gives Kara these looks, and James actually notices it, and it's pretty freaking funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, I ship Mon-El with Kara more than I do with James, mainly because they understand each other better. They're from sister planets, you know what I mean? Granted, Daxamites and Kryptonians did not get along. They're both aliens. They're both sister planets. Who better to understand each other? I mean, the only person that could understand Kara better than Mon-El would be frickin' Superman himself, because he's from Krypton, you know what I mean? And in a way, it'd kind of be more of a normal relationship, because Kara can't really have a normal relationship with a normal guy, which is probably why I think she never had when it came to normal guys, she never had a proper relationship. Like, granted, Wynn wasn't one of them, because she saw him more as a best friend. Look what happened with James, and then that guy, Kat's eldest son. Remember, she had a thing with him at one point, but that didn't work out either. And I think the reason for that is because they're normal and she's not. Granted, James is best friends with Superman, best friends with Kara. He knows the superhero thing, but he's still normal. I think the only person good for Kara is someone who's not normal like her. Enter Mon-El, right? So I think I ship it more. I really do ship it more. And you know, Mon-El, he is really trying to change for the better. He's trying to be a better man for Kara, which makes it even more for my shipping heart that I want Mon-El and Kara to be together, because that would just make more sense. Just saying. Anyway, we see the real Hank Henshaw, aka Cyborg Superman, show up at a Kryptonian base in what seems to be the North Pole. And I want to say it's Clark's place, because that same robot friend of Clark's was there, Superman. And apparently he has some of Kara's blood, and he uses the blood to pretty much trick the system into thinking Cyborg Superman is Kara, because it says, "Welcome back, Kara Zor-El." And apparently they did that in order to find out about this project called Medusa. And of course, that's never a good sign, because remember, is Medusa in Greek mythology is that crazy lady who has snakes for hair, and you look at her eyes, you'll turn to stone. So anything named after that crazy woman of Greek mythology's gotta be a bad thing, right? Just saying. Anyway, it's an amazing episode. There's like a good redemption moment for Guardian, because a lot of people thought he was a murderer because of that other vigilante. So it was good to, you know, that they cleared that up, and you know, and Kara approves of him now, which is pretty cool. Alex knows about him because of Wynn, but I don't think that James knows that Alex knows, so that's gonna be hilarious. The dynamic between Alex and Maggie are still kinda but I'm glad that, you know, Alex finally accepts Maggie as just a friend. I'm really worried about Jean, especially since Magan said that the transfusion is turning him into a white Martian. I really am worried about him, and quite frankly, I don't think that he should have locked up Magan. She literally did say that she did not want to be a murderer like the rest of the white Martians. I'm just saying. And of course, it's cool seeing Cyborg Superman finally for the first time in the flesh. Really cool. I guess they really did decide to go with the real Hank Henshaw. Although it would have been really cool that the actor who played Jeremiah would have been Cyborg Superman, considering the actor has played Superman before. But hey, I guess they had to go with the real Hank Henshaw like in the comics, I guess. But this episode, a lot of Mon-El and Kara feels. I like it. I want more of it. But I'm really curious about what Mon-El was going to tell Kara when they were imprisoned. Remember, before Jeremiah saved Kara and Mon-El, they were having this moment where, if I don't make it out of this, Mon-El, can you tell Alex this? And then Mon-El was going to say the same thing. He was going to admit something to her about his life. But he ended up getting interrupted by Jeremiah. So I'm really curious on what he was going to tell her. I hope it's not something bad, because I really want Mon-El and Kara to be together. They seem to fit better. But anyway, this is my part 2 reaction rant to Supergirl Season 2, Episode 7, titled The Darkest Place. See ya, Boto. Bye.